Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Tamara, and welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. For all my new listeners, new episodes drop every Thursday, so make sure you check me out again. I generally talk about my life and how I'm trying to grow. This is just a different episode I do once a month. We'll get more into that later. And then for all my day ones, etc., thank you so much for continuing to rock with me, support me, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. Make sure you're following me on social media. So all my social media handles can be found at my website, which is tamarathedon.com. If you're watching, you can see that at the bottom of the screen on my site or whatever. And then let's go ahead and do the weekly podcast shout out. So this week we got Oversaturated, the podcast. This is a podcast I listen to. It's a regular in my rotation. They talk about, it says on their website that they discuss hip hop, movies, pop culture, and everything in between. They're funny. I even learned stuff from them they just talk about a lot of different topics. So the link to their website will be in the episode notes. And then get y'all some merch. It's going to be t-shirt season. It's still hoodie season somewhere in the world. I got all kinds of stuff that you can check out on either of the merch tabs on my website, which again is tamarathedon.com. If you want to support me, you know what I'm saying? If you just want to buy me some coffee to help support the TAM special, or if you just want to, send me some money, you can go to the support tab on my website, and anything is appreciated. So let's go ahead and get into this episode. We are going to do a movie review. Shout out to Spence because he gave us the suggestion for us to do the first Bad Boys. So if there is anything you want to, hear us review, let us know. Otherwise, we just going to do what we want to do and keep it rolling. But without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my co-host. I guess that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? They done definitely been on here more than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go ahead and start with Cedric. Why don't you, tell the people who you are and tell us how your week was. How's your week been? We'll do all that.
My week's been great, actually. Weather's getting nice. Can't really complain about that, honestly. So I've been out a little bit more, trying a little bit different restaurants.
Oh, okay.
Going to little different spots and everything. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's been a great week. Appreciate you asking that. But Cedric, my Twitter handle, Instagram handle is at CLW51. I do have a photography Instagram called it says photography. I actually almost forgot about it. But yeah, you can follow me on those. And yeah, week's been great.
All right, Baylor, you up next. How your week been and all that other good stuff?
It's been good. It's not over. I got got a busy rest of the week coming up, but today I did get my first vaccine shot. So my arm is a little sore.
If
I don't make it through the episode,
don't play.
Just know I'm at work. Y'all come get me.
You know what, man? Our granny, she got the vaccine, and so
I didn't even know that.
You would know if you talked to her, you know what I'm saying? But no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nah, but I try to call her like once a month, and I have not always done that, but she been having her strokes and all this health stuff. So, but I say all that to say she was fine. Like she said the first time, I don't even think she said her arm was sore the first time. And then the second time she was cool. Cause I was like, I'll knock all Pfizer shit over if something happened to my granny. But yeah, so you probably be all right, Baylor. Hopefully. Don't die on the episode.
Till they hit that button.
Oh Lord.
Outside of that, yeah, like I said, I got the rest of the week. So my son got a tournament. Look forward to that, and then that's it. Yeah, no, that's it.
All right,
You can find me at Baylor the Great on all social media platforms. Very much so on Twitter. Do not come for me. I got killers on the payroll. I do have the Baylorism brand. Don't send me a DM saying you like certain things, and then don't send me the money. There you go.
All right. Me. It's been a good week. Y'all know I've been on my little Snatch 40s journey. I'm always talking about it or posting about it, which really it's twofold when I do that. It's one, it keeps me accountable now that I've made it kind of like this public journey. That's honestly what kind of helps keep me going. But then, like, if I just post a progress pic randomly out of nowhere, especially on Facebook, and then I get the people, what are you doing? And that's annoying because it's not like I've been grinding, you know what I'm saying? But I've been switching up my workouts a little bit just to kind of not feel bored or feel like I'm just doing the same old. So one day,
Gotta do that.
Yeah, hit the treadmill and did, alternating running and walking just to kind of still have that hit type workout or whatever. And so just seeing myself come back to workouts that I used to maybe struggle with before, but your boy Bully Juice, his workouts are, that dude is insane. Just if you follow him on Instagram or check out his YouTube videos, but especially on Instagram, he'll post content of him doing stuff like push-ups next to a bench, and then he pushes and jumps in the air and lands on the bench and keeps, but with smooth, you know what I'm saying? Just he's crazy. Or he'll even his wife is hella strong, where they be doing stuff where she'll lean backwards and lift him in the air and then put they kids, because they got 2 daughters, and she's basically holding up all, I don't know, it's just crazy. But I'm seeing where doing his workouts, and then if I come back to the treadmill, it feels easier because it's like, oh, I'm just running. Like, I'm not doing burpees or steam squats or whatever the heck they called. So yeah, my week been cool. I actually had today off, so that was nice to just, I think I'm gonna start taking a day off once a month just because, so I can, I don't know, have some time to myself, because the girls will either be at work, school, whatever. So yeah, my week been cool too. So Bad Boys won. Boy.
Bad boys.
Right. Man. This movie was, and I've seen it before, but watching it as 40-year-old me, I had so many questions throughout the movie that I was just like, so I guess I'll start just with this. I know they was in Miami or wherever they live, but I just literally could not, with Martin walking around with some Jodeci boots, some baggy pants, a wife beater, and a vest. And that's his, like, what? That's what you wear as a cop? I ain't never seen.
They didn't look like cops.
Yeah, not even on what's that, CSI Miami, because they was in Miami. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen that type of stuff where he just, I don't know. So that
I
was
mean,
that
I
just
mean, when you get to that detective level,
Yeah.
you take that risk of walking around in those Versace shirts.
The Versace's.
man, it just yeah.
But the
So
thing is, let's just be real. It didn't age well.
mm-mm.
But if you really think
No.
about it, I think we can't do that though, because for that time it was something spectacular for many
Yes.
different reasons. These were two of the top black sitcoms in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then we got to see, we already know about Will Smith. Will Smith is very versatile when it comes to acting.
Oh yeah.
But seeing Martin in that space,
Yeah.
that was something different. You know what I mean? And even though I consider it like a comedy action, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we know we're going to get the comedic side from them too. But it was still good to see them play a more serious role,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it's a hood classic, because it's something that we wanted from a lot of different movies, where or the idea of pairing two highly respected comedians, I guess you could say. I mean, I know Will Smith hasn't had a stand up, but he's a comedian to me.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So to see them two pair up, and not only, after the first one, we wanted the second one, and we've been wanted the third one.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and you don't get the third one without having the first one. And this is the baby.
And it's interesting because what I liked about the third one, and even though this isn't what this is about, but it gave us some backstory that, I mean, obviously they wrote it, made it up, you know what I'm saying, after the fact, but it gave us backstory on even what was going on before we saw them become partners, because we always just saw them as partners. We never knew that, he had been doing some deep undercover work prior to that and everything that
Yeah.
transpired to bring about his son. So I do like that about the third one, but back to the first one. Yes, I will give you that for the culture, those things, yes, it in that time and whatever, it was cool, but logistically on some of that stuff, even at any realm in police world, it did not make sense, because first of all, since when do witnesses, talking about Julie, when do they get to tell you, I'm going to your house, and you just bring some random girl
Random.
that you don't even know her, like you knew Maya or whatever, her homegirl's name
Oh,
was.
Max.
Max, yeah. You
Yeah.
knew her. You don't even know this. You don't even, to be honest, you really don't even know if that's really her homegirl. And you just roll with it and you just take her to your boy's house. Not just your boy, though, your partner's house. Leave her in there. And like, where is that realistic at any point in the police world? That just.
That's
Mm-mm.
that's not is not realistic, but I can kind of understand where they was coming from, because this is, you got to remember, this is $100 million heroin case. So any um I would say anybody that's involved in that case, you got to do things outside of the guidelines. Meaning you might have to store with it, because something that serious, that case being that big, and we've seen it in the third movie, those witnesses will come up missing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I look, the black community knows how much of protective custody a joke
Mm-hmm.
about
Yeah.
protective custody, because
Yeah.
they get to these goddamn, because we already know they might be paying. So
Yeah.
it might,
Hell, even
Oh
on
yeah, they
Power,
definitely
but
can.
listen, even on Power, we saw that with Dre, because
Mhm.
he was supposed to be in protective
Yeah.
custody, and all them niggas got killed, and then he killed Donovan or
Yeah.
whatever. But I mean, yeah, so I mean, I get that, yeah,
And
but
these are two detectives who are actually not crooked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe, maybe we should have seen them speak on dirty cops or something like that within the workplace and things like that. Then that'll give us probably a different perspective on why they took special care of this witness.
Yeah. Because go ahead.
No, I was listening to y'all talk. One thing that I noticed about the first one, and because y'all got to remember, because that movie came out in like 95. I was born in 92.
I know,
So
you were like 3.
Yeah, so I actually seen the second one before I seen the first one. And watching the first one again, it made me really like it reminded me of the second one a lot. So it was actually kind of funny that you said that, Baylor. Like it was like it didn't age well. It's almost like they redid it, the second one, almost as because the second one, if you watch the second one, it almost has the same exact premise. You got your girl, she gets kidnapped.
Yeah,
They took out the one part that you said that didn't make any sense, Tam, about the witness. And I was about to say that exactly as well, too.
There's a lot of bodies that hit the floor in that movie, though.
Yeah.
A lot of bodies.
The movie ended almost exactly the same. You got the car scene driving up to the whole ending of the shootout, and it was almost very, very similar. And like you said, because when I was watching number one, it didn't make any sense either. I was like, man, this didn't age well too. But then when I was watching it, I was just like, man, this is just like Bad Boys 2. Like exactly like Bad Boys 2. So when you said that, I was just like, what if they just tried to kind of come back with it, because the third one was completely different. Like you said, they went to a backstory, they told you about Will.
But they knew they had to, though. They knew they had to make 3 so different because, again, they also had different storylines within the movie. You know what I mean? When I was younger, of course I wanted to be Mike Larry. But as an adult, I totally understand where Mark is coming from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially because you are married with kids and gotta, think about that stuff. I guess since we're just seem to be talking about all of them right now, which is what it is. The third one, I like how, and I think Cedric, we were talking about this earlier, how the daughter grew up, her and Reggie are married, and you know what I'm saying. So I like that they didn't go too far away. Like, yeah, it was a different movie, but they kept some of the key things that made, like, if she would have been married to somebody else, we would have been like, well, damn, what happened to Reggie? Just because that was such a key part of, like, do you know how many
people still remember that?
Yeah, you know how many times I still see that? It was interesting to see JoJo, because that's the dude from the Sopranos, and I've been actually rewatching that. Like, I started it over whenever, and I'm on season 2 now because that was my show back then. So it was interesting to see him because I'm like, damn, you just always playing these drug dealer ass criminal roles. Like, I don't know, it was kind of funny. But what didn't, it's interesting because, watching it from the beginning and you see Fouché and this dirty cop that we don't know he's a cop until he gets killed, and he's stealing dope and all these things. And when later, when they're in the house and he got Max there and he's talking about well, I brought my family to you and this, that, and the other. In my mind, I'm like, okay, so you see how this man is. Why would you cross this man? Like, why would you even you saw this man tell this nigga you the decoy, shoot him, kill him, and he didn't even know nothing about that. So you see he's grimy. Like, I don't know, where is your common sense to where you thought that was gonna be cool? You know what I'm saying? To steal his dope. I don't know. That didn't make sense to me.
Well, maybe he felt like, okay,
he was kind of a weird character anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I got to shoot him some bail. Because maybe he probably thought because he was, I don't know if he was a former.
Yeah, he was a former.
Okay, so being a former Fed, like, that still holds a lot of weight. You know what I mean? You're still a part of the gang. You just don't have to go to work. You know what I mean? But maybe he felt like he had a little bit of power with him being in or he owned that booger sugar. You know what I mean? and that shit make you do some crazy things, you know?
That's what I thought it was, kind of more like.
It's something, I guess. Yeah, that
But
makes sense.
Max, for years, and I'm talking about years, I've always felt like, yo, she did not have to die.
She didn't.
But then, after a couple of edibles, and after watching Power, and after watching Snowfall, and getting into that drug world, I'll never be a part of it. But you want to make sure there's no loose ends.
Yeah.
And so if he was to allow them to leave and still kill him, they're going to come question them anyway. You know what I mean? So, damn, Max. Like, don't go to work that night. Like, don't work that night.
But you know what? What I will give Fouché, because, and I think it's because she was a woman, I love the way he like tried to be not gentle with her, but in a sense like let her not know what's coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you look so pretty, can you model for me? And then shoot her, almost like creating a false sense of safety for it. Now it's manipulative as hell. But I'm just saying I noticed a difference in how he killed her versus how he was trying to do Julie, because he saw Julie as a threat. He needed to tie the loose ends up with Max for sure, but she hadn't really done anything. She really was just wrong place, wrong time. But Julie was like, oh, this bitch, she working with the feds. She trying to snitch. Like, he was going to do her dirty.
But she was moving too fast, though. Yeah. So the faster you move, the more upset I'm about to get, because I need everybody in here dead.
Yeah.
But I ain't going to lie to you, Max, that one hurt me. That one hurt me. Because I'm like,
and it was just quick too.
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I'm more closer to understanding Marcus than I am of Mike Lowry, because too much shooting, too much death, and I got a family. You know what I mean? And and then like I said, before we started recording, I told you I watched it like a couple of weeks ago. Watching that in this climate, knowing, watching and seeing what's been happening over the past couple of years, innocent black woman. Gone.
Yeah.
For nothing.
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
First thing I thought.
And but the thing about it is it would have been Julie too if she wouldn't have got away. You know what I'm saying? It just happened to be.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, okay, I can't say that. I don't want to get canceled. Canceled.
Oh man.
But Julie is with us though. She's with us.
She's with us.
She's with us.
That's funny. It was dang, what was I about to say? Man, you said something that sparked something and I lost it, but whatever. I'll just go here. It was interesting as an adult seeing Marcus and his wife's marriage, and just how, like, okay, for one, I mean, I get it that women want quality time and all that stuff, but at the same time, I just kind of feel like she was a little bit unreasonable in my opinion. Now, when he lied, we'll get into that in a second, but I just feel like I didn't understand. Now, granted, there wasn't really a backstory for us to know why it was the way she was, but it just seemed like.
Oh no, I can help you out with that.
Okay, go ahead.
I can definitely help you out with that. She did seek a lot of attention from him. At the same time, I can understand being a married man. My wife told me today, she said, some things that we had to do. And she said, and I want you to come back downstairs and give me all of your attention. She said it exactly like that. That's loco for one. Okay. When a woman tells you that, I want you to come back downstairs and give me all of your attention. Crazy, but I married her. So the thing is, I think, and I don't want to say all women, but some women feel that way. Like, I need my attention. On top of that, he's a detective, so he puts his life on the line every day. So I'm pretty sure there's some shifts where he doesn't come home or he's working late, stakeouts, shit like that. And it's like, one thing that she didn't, I don't feel like she understood was he too was trying to be in her space. Throughout all 3 movies, he like, look, I can't. He kept telling Mike, I can't do this no more. You know what I'm saying? I want to be with my family. And so when you said about the lie, I totally understand why we do lie. We lie in situations where we don't have
That lie
to.
was so petty, though,
that
man. 'Cause
lie
he's
was
a detective.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
he
why
could have just
didn't
easily
you?
just been like, I gotta
Man,
be him.
I
You gotta
have
be
to
me.
do this. You made this whole ass lie about I gotta go to Cleveland. I've been subpoenaed, and then you get caught, and then so it's kind of like
he made a big lie.
It's twofold though, because I feel like now I don't know if he was a cop when they got married or if he became a cop after, because I kind of, as a woman, if that's what she signed up for, like I don't know, I just felt like there was animosity that I didn't understand. Like, as a kid, I just rode with it, but as an adult, I'm like, it's not like he's cheating, he's working, and you know what his job is. Like, you know what I'm not saying you not, and I don't know, I'm not married.
You seen what happened when Mike was in the room and she got a little close to him with the pictures. Don't take that as a little innocent little picture, that wasn't innocent.
And I'm glad you said that. A pure marriage will still have to deal with jealousy. You know what I mean? Because it's just in us. Just like when he was over the phone or whatever, and you can hear them talking, looking at the pictures, and Mike put it back in, like, stop. You know what I'm saying?
That just sounded wild as hell.
It sound wild, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, gonna be with my babies in the house.
Yo, look, this is before FaceTime. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like you haven't not only haven't seen your wife, but you haven't been with your wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She wasn't giving it up barely before that.
Exactly. So that right there sparked up all type of shit in your head. So, and going back to the whole lie, the reason why I said I can understand it is because I'm not saying that he was right in doing it. I just know, as a man in general, whether you're in a relationship, single or married, like, sometimes you're put in a situation where no matter if you tell the truth, you're going to look bad. And like I said, when you're married and there's going to be droughts and stuff like that, and not just sexually, but like just verbally, like, niggas are like, y'all become roommates for the day. Like, nigga, I'm not messing with you today. You know what I mean? So y'all, when you're going through those spells and stuff like that, shit start to pop up. And then, this. Now, look, I'm not going to lie to you. You think I'm cheating with this? You know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna get upset about. You ain't really. Now, if it was Max, okay, you got me a little. But Julie with Lil Duke and no, you care about her, these damn dogs. But I feel like he could have said, look, and again, it's a movie, so they got to keep us entertained. But he could have said, like, no, this is what it was. I actually lied and told her in the moment, but this is what it really is. And everybody has to be there. Mike and Julie need to be there.
They've all been like, cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess, because I mean, I was married. I was a lot younger when I was married, so I have a way different mindset. But I can't say that because of like the foundation that our marriage was on, it wasn't really me demanding this or demanding that or whatever. Not because it was good, but that's just not really who I was as a person then, because I didn't really know what I wanted, needed. insecurities, brokenness, all kinds of stuff, and just being young. So I guess though now, I guess I could say that I know, just like as I've met different dudes that I've been talking to doing this whole little online dating thing. One thing I know about me is that I have to feel taken care of emotionally before, anything else could pop off. So I get that. So I get that part. And maybe I'll just let it go because it is just a movie, and there was a lot of stuff, of course, they left out. But I'm just like, why is it like y'all beefing? Why is it like you like? Did he cheat before? Because why did you think he was cheating? Did she cheat before? Why do you think she would cheat with your boy? Like I don't know. There's just certain things that.
But you know what? Like
It's
I
that
said,
drought, man. Like
yeah,
you said,
it can
it's that drought.
you don't necessarily have to have a history of cheating on either side. It's just that's just what it is. Especially like with some men, and believe it or not, I'm about to snitch on some men. Like we have insecure moments too, just like women do. And it could be us scrolling through IG, looking at IG models. It could be y'all seeing football players and saying, I like Travis Kelce. I can't wait till my wife told me, she was like, who's that? I was like,
That's that white boy from Kansas.
She was like,
Yeah.
I was like, that's Travis Kelce. She was like, I was like, I'm about to scroll up IG then. No, but that's just what it is. Like I said, it could be an honest marriage, but jealousy at times is gonna seep in there because it's an ongoing battle. And at the same time, like I said, like you just said, it's a movie. So that type of interaction had to spark up the comedy as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So we don't get the classic, no, Mike, put it back in. Stop. You know what I mean? Like that, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm driving straight there.
Oh yeah.
I'm not falling.
Straight.
I'm not falling in no pool. No, I'm not sneaking nothing. I'm kicking down my door. Mike, put what back in? Oh yeah, everybody getting socked up.
That's true. Yeah, I mean,
With
and I guess
giggles, he probably ain't heard them giggles in years.
right. I mean, he ain't spent time with her, so she's showing him pictures, talking about he would kill me if he knew. Then why was you showing him? But it is what it is.
That quality time.
Yeah. And it was good though to see young, you know what I'm saying, young Martin. And I mean, you don't really see him in much anymore, and I forgot how funny he is. I don't watch Martin. Like, I know a lot of people just watch Martin all the time and whatnot. That's not me. And it's not like I don't like it. I just don't watch TV like that. But I forgot just how funny he is. And I don't know. It was good to see, like you said, Baylor, two, at that time, the top black sitcoms or whatever come together, Bloods and Crips unite, you feel me? In a situation where, so many times it's always people trying to put people against people. Like, it's like people can't just, and I don't know that was a thing back then, but I see it more now where it's like somebody can't just seem to exist in a space without being compared to somebody else.
Right.
You know what I'm
People
saying?
are haters nowadays.
Yeah, but and it's weird because it's like, I'm trying to think
want
of
you to succeed.
I think of who it was recent. Oh, like how people compare Power and Snowfall. They are literally not the same show at all.
No.
Like, the only thing that's similar that wasn't even really as heavily focused on in Power is the drugs. Like, drugs were in Power, but that wasn't the main focus like it is Snowfall. And it's like, I don't understand why things can't exist and just be its own thing. Like, why does everything, I will see so many people on Facebook and Twitter say, oh, this ain't better than Power. It ain't even the same type of show.
It's not
because they
like,
want you to succeed, but they don't want you to be better than them,
hey,
or they don't want to feel like that you're better than them.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, we critique movies. I critique, scary movies as well. And it's like, but I give my opinion, but not to the point where I'm trying to persuade you to like my opinion.
Right.
And because honestly, I don't know what people want from movies. I really don't. They have their complaints and even their praises, but they have their complaints and they never have a solution or alternate, option or something like that. And I'm like, people gonna look, because I'm gonna like certain things that I'm gonna like certain movies that's not considered a classic or far from a classic or whatever. I just take it for what it is. Like, the only time I'm very judgmental on these type of films is if I expected a certain director or a certain or to have a certain cast or whatever. But even then, if they do well, then I'm not complaining. You know what I mean? Like, because I felt like when it came to Bad Boys 3, that particular storyline, I honestly didn't care for, but I seen how they tied it all in and how they made it make sense. They could make it different. They could pick a whole totally different storyline, but they stuck with that, and that's that. I'm not gonna tell people just because I didn't like the storyline that the movie wasn't that good.
Yeah, because even with how Sister Soldier Part 2, so she had the coldest winter ever, and I cannot think of the name of this new book, Life After Death, I think. But the coldest winter ever, because like I've always been a fan of Black novels, like the Zane books, the Sister Soldier books or whatever. And so I read The Coldest Winter Ever back in the day. And then now she, like 20 years, which is probably not an exaggeration, I believe it's 20 years later, she dropped Part 2, which is I'm pretty sure it's called Life After Death. If it's not, Google it, because I ain't even about to look it up right now. It ain't that serious. But again, when I was listening to, shout out to Views, I was listening to their podcast earlier today, and Ivan was talking about just the reviews that he's seen. I mean, and I saw them too, because I went on Apple Books to see if I want, just to see how much it is, but also to see if they have an audio book of it. So I guess Nia Long is reading the audio version of the book or whatever. And some of the reviews I saw were just talking about, like, I'm talking about 1 star, you know what I'm saying? And this was terrible and blah, blah, blah. Didn't really say what could have done better. Kind of like you said, no solution, nothing, just this is terrible. But then I saw some people that said this book was really good. If you were sitting here thinking that it was going to be the exact same thing that it was 20 years ago, why would you think that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of like, even with The Second Coming to America, so many people, I watched it. I'm not gonna like really get all off into the movie because it's not that serious, but we watched it. Me, Audrey, Chris, Jay, Autumn, we all will do like movie dates, and so we watched it together and we were texting through it. And like for such a time as this, that number one, everybody is still alive. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't do no 30 year from now Black Panther. Like, let's be real, and have the same people. So there's that. It's just the fact that everybody was alive to do the movie. They kept some of the key parts that were a part of the movie, but also remember it's 30 years later, and he already came to America to find his wife. They got married, got some kids. Like, it's not going to be the same. And I just think people just, like you said, I don't be understanding what people want or why they can't just enjoy something, just, or I don't know. Just,
I mean, the thing is, people have the right to critique it. You know what I mean? Because that's what, you put it out there for people to watch it. So we're going to critique it. It's just that
It's
I
the
don't know.
comparison that I'm talking about.
It's the cancel culture mixed in with people just complaining all the time, and I feel like it's becoming a trend to where people feel comfortable complaining about everything. Like you could like a movie that might not be a classic instantly or anything like that. It might not even age well. But if you truly like it, then just just roll. You don't have to roll with everybody else. I personally like Coming to America too, and I
Oh,
know the
yeah.
difference between an R-rated movie and a PG-13 movie. I know what I'm gonna get, and I know what I'm not going to get, and I'm smart enough to know that they can't go R-rated, not in this era. You know what I mean?
No,
Because
not necessary.
you will have to tippy toe around some of those jokes. And what they did is they brought in a broad audience. You know what I'm saying? Like we stay sitting there complaining about movies that's supposed to just be for us. They made this for everybody to watch
You
or
know,
whatever.
this is where I struggle. Ooh, oh well, I'm gonna say it. This is where I struggle with the mindset of thinking that okay, let me get my thoughts right. We need to be represented in all spaces, but so yes, we do. I also though think that sometimes people get into the mindset of it should be for us, like man, I want to get this right. Like, but also we a lot of times don't support us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can't always only solely depend on us for anything. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can, so I'm not generalizing, but there are a lot of times that you can't. And so I'm always all about unity, and I'm always about we all need to work to try to figure out how to exist together, because we are not it's not realistic for us to think we're about to have some black utopia. I don't know where we're going to go to have that. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be representation, because we should be represented in all spaces. I'm not saying that there's not systemic things in place, because we know there are. You know what I'm saying? So this is not what that's about, but this is about when you get into, like you were just saying, people getting mad because it's appealing to a broader audience. But look how we bash stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do have the right to critique, but I'm talking about where it's the comparison of you don't like it because it's not the same as what it was 30 years ago. How does that make sense? What is he, divorced Lisa and he trying to go to America to find a new wife? Like, that's where I struggle with the
I think a
But they
lot of
comparison.
compare
people,
stuff all the time now. That
yeah.
goes back in time. I
You know what
mean,
I think it is? I think a lot of people have an issue with separating different genres. So like in this era, everything is like available now. And so we're all over the place watching different things. Like 1 minute I'm watching Snowfall, the next minute I'm watching WandaVision, then I'm watching some behind her eyes on Netflix. That's a good show, by the way. But you're watching all these different shows that trigger different type of emotions, but they also have different plots. Some might have plot twists, some are thrillers, some are action, and then but we're fed all of this content, and whatever we like the most, like Power and Snowfall, when we get another project that's similar to that has something to do with drugs, it's like, well, it's not better than this. Why? Because it has the same type of content that you're comparing it to. Because I could tell the difference between a Snowfall, a Power, and an Ozark. All three of those have something to do with drugs, but all three of them are going a different route on the content. So it's like, I don't know if people know how to separate that. And you should be old enough and wise enough and smart enough to know the difference between an R-rated film and a PG-13 film.
yeah.
That you know the content is going to be extremely different going either way. You know what I mean? And that the rated R is going to limit certain amount of people. This PG-13 allowed my kids to come in and watch it without me saying, cover your eyes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or cover your ears. Like they brought in not only the kids, but the white folks as well, and everybody else. So
And that's why it's number one. And see what people got to remember when it comes to content. And this is where I struggle with, man, I couldn't even imagine if this was like my job, not podcasting, but just being in any industry and that, because like part of why I think like, what if somehow somebody offered me a deal or something? I struggle with that because of the politics of this industry. Because what people got to understand is when you are trying to create content, for most people, you're doing it because you want a lot of listens, a lot of views, a lot of whatever. So why would they only appeal to just R-rated crowd, or just, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just way, especially right now with it being on, the movies theaters ain't really open like that, and you know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna get as those couples necessarily that's trying to get away from their kids and go to the movies. Everybody's together, all in the house. Now I don't know when they started filming this, but in my opinion, it was smart to make it a family friendly movie since we all at home anyway and ain't got nothing else to do. But you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Watch stuff together. Cause like you said, I mean, my kids are older, but if my kids were young, they wouldn't have been able to watch it with me because, like Power, when I was first watching Power, I never watched Power with my kids. And even technically, I watched like one episode with my son, and it was just hella awkward. And he was an adult then, but it was still awkward because, man, that was back when Ghost and Angie was on that. So it's like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
And if you do allow your kids to watch it, that's extra work that you got to do because now you
yeah.
have to explain why this is
Mm-hmm.
happening, why this is happening. Whereas
Yeah.
a PG-13 film, you already know what the ending is before the movie starts.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because they're gonna give you the Disney answer. But look, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But
I allow people to voice their opinions or whatever, but I don't. They tell me not to go see a movie. I'm still gonna go see it if I really want to
yeah,
watch it.
I'm just like I was telling Ivan, I'm still gonna read this book because I love the first one, and some things you just got. Most things I need to experience for myself. Now, unless you telling me
Yeah.
somebody was in there saying some crazy prayer to have Satan come rain on earth or something.
That's
I don't,
different.
you know
That's
what I'm
different.
saying? I don't need to experience that for myself. But
Watch
Yeah,
that.
outside
yeah.
of that, it's kind of like the thing with content, though, kind of like you were saying, there's so many different things, but there's room and there's space for all of them. I literally listen to, and if you follow me on Twitter, you're seeing how I'm doing it now, where I'm just tweeting out my whole rotation for the day because it's just, I still want to do it how I do it, where I'm using my platform to like spotlight other people that maybe someone on my followers never heard of them or never whatever. I still want to do that, but I want to do it in an efficient way instead of what I was doing before. It was just too time consuming. But if you pay attention, I'll listen to like 10, okay, maybe not 10, 5, 6, 7 different shows that are all podcasts, so they're all the same I guess industry, but they're all different things. But see, the difference is I can differentiate what I'm gonna get from BTG for president versus, I don't know, views, or versus who else? So I oversaturated the podcast, or Autumn, Audrey, Chris, Jay. I could differentiate what I'm gonna get, and I'm not gonna expect you to start busting out an old school smooth groove on your show. I'm not gonna expect Chris to do a shut the fuck up award on her show. And that's where I think people, I don't know if I just think deeper into things. I'm not saying that in a like throwing shade. I do think deeply about things, or I don't know why the comparison, it just never makes sense to me unless you comparing, because even with Power and Ghost, I so thought I was gonna be comparing them until I started realizing, and I was kind of like, I don't even know if I'm gonna like this if you just gonna do the same old. Even within the same franchise with some of the same people, even that was different. The only thing that was the same is that Tasha was still in jail at first. Ghost is, I guess, still dead. I don't know. Ghost never dies. So you
I hate
go.
them conspiracy theories, boy. People ever want to Tupac everybody, boy.
Machiavelli the dog.
Hey man, he said it.
Tupac everybody,
Nah,
boy.
but you know
Let
what I'm
that man
saying?
rest in peace.
Yeah, well, not rest in peace.
rest in power.
Right. Nah, but you know, the comparison I just think people need to allow things. I mean, I see it in sports, I see it in whatever, and I don't, you ain't even gotta defend sports or go there because I don't watch sports like
But
that.
how often do we actually say, man, the second and the third one was that much better than the first? The first one is going to be the classic before the second and the third one is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And look where some of this content come from. Don't get me wrong, there's some directors out there that could think of some off the just space shit. But most of the content is coming from what's happening. We got Boys in the Hood, New Jack City, and all those hood classics because of what was going on in New York, what was going on in LA at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So ain't nothing going on right now, obviously, because y'all can't create no classics in this generation. You know what I mean?
Trying to
All they do
the
is
classics.
they just
That's
keep
what they trying to do.
recreating and recycling songs.
So watch this.
Movies.
They recreate what we did in the 80s and the 90s, but then it's trash. But it came from a classic. So I think
it's because, and shout out to Spence for this, because I hear him say this a lot when they get to talking about movies and music. It's kind of like with Bad Boys. I couldn't watch Bad Boys at the age of 40 the way I watched it at the age of 15, because I have evolved as a person. I've been through some things. You know what I'm saying? I'm older. I'm more educated, even have more life experience. So it's like a movie like even Poetic Justice, because I watched that recently. Man, I'm not gonna say it's not a classic and I don't like it, but watching it and just how toxic all of that was. Lucky and her homegirl and her dude.
That was very
watching
toxic,
how
yeah.
toxic all that was as an adult. I'm like, hell no. But back in the day when I was a kid, I was like, oh, look at
watch
this.
Baby Boy then.
But
Man.
you know what though? I'm glad you said that, because you said watching it as a 40-year-old how toxic it was. As a youngster, I knew how toxic it was, but this goes to Malcolm and Marie. I know the reality of that, whether I lived it personally or I've seen somebody else go through it. So
What's that about? I haven't seen that. I still
I can't. I'll just say the word toxic, but it was also, to me, it was actually refreshing. But after you watch it, then we can go through that.
Okay.
But we get these movies, and I'm like, I know that it's a toxic situation, but this is also reality. You know what I mean? So I don't.
Is that what they're trying to make though?
I don't know what they're trying to do in today's world. I don't know what they're trying to do. Like, to me, they might as well just stick with the Marvel shit where everything is just make believe. But they do a great job with the Snowfalls. But when you look at Snowfall, they had to go dig deep in the 80s and the early 90s for that content.
And the thing about that is, with Snowfall, like you said, it's based in the 80s, and it's based on true things. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's wild to see, but I know that it's real. I just didn't know the extent. Like I only knew a little bit about, because I hadn't done a ton of research into it. And I mean, of course, I'm sure they took creative freedom on some stuff, but it's based on reality. So I think that's a little
The first
different.
season, I think he said, was based more on reality than
Right.
every other season.
Oh, okay.
But watch this though. Out of the 3 and almost a half seasons, it may not be actual events, but shit like this has happened.
Yeah.
You know what I
Just
mean?
like
So I
last episode.
the gang violence that they
Oh, yeah.
show in Snowfall, maybe somebody didn't die exactly that way. Niggas have died like that in LA.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Like
that's
The Wire.
the Wire, and that's a classic. And some people in today, like I've heard within the past, I want to say last 3 years, someone has mentioned that The Wire wasn't a classic because they had a couple of seasons that was trash, and I'm like, look, man, I'm done. I'm done.
Everybody that I've ever talked to about that I watch Power has always told me, shout out to Mike from Off the Record, he definitely was like, you gotta watch The Wire. And maybe one day I will, because I've always been into shows. Like I used to watch Oz. Y'all remember that when they was in prison, Etta BC and all them. I've always been into shows like that. But what I will give The Sopranos is The Sopranos aged well. I loved it in the 90s, and I'm watching it now. Now, Meadow and Anthony Jr. are trash, and I would have been slapping the hell out of them every day, every episode as a parent. But there are kids really like that though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real. There are rich entitled kids where they get in trouble and it's, oh, I'm just gonna take your credit card away, instead of like real consequences. You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that,
What's the biggest complaint about The Sopranos?
if I'm honest, I don't have one.
Well, I mean, the ongoing complaint has always been the ending. Has been the last episode, which
I don't remember it because I only watched it all the way through back when it was out, and then now I'm watching it now, so I'll get there, but I don't even remember. Didn't he? Okay, so how did it end?
Well, look, because I've actually got some feedback before saying that I spoiled this show that came out years ago, right? Sons of Anarchy.
Hey, this is my platform, so spoiler alert, it is what it is.
But it was one of those. The last episode was one of those endings where it allowed you to come up with your own perspective, and a lot of people didn't like that. And again, when you are watching The Sopranos when it first came out, then yes, you're in a different mind state. You probably wanted more. Just like all these other shows that only go maybe 3 or 4 seasons and then that's it, and we want more. They didn't give us any more. So now when you watch it, you're gonna go through it, and you probably still had that same feeling like they could have come up with a different ending, but at the same time, you're old enough and mature enough to know that where they're probably leaving this a blank canvas for me to paint it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I got did he? Okay, so I know in real life he didn't die before the show ended though. He died after the fact, right?
I think it was after the show.
Okay, that's what I thought. I know he's no longer with us, but everything feels.
I want to say it was after the show. I mean,
I don't know. I guess I'll find out when I get there, because that's what I've been watching that. I've been watching Snowfall. That's actually a lot of shows for me, because normally I only really watch Power.
I need to get
But
into Sopranos, but I've been rewatching The Wire a little bit with the Snowfall.
yeah.
Wire is a classic, man. You can rewatch that show, and it's
Yeah.
a good show.
See, I
Yeah.
like shows like that where you could rewatch it because like the movie Inception is a movie like that I own it and I've watched it multiple times and I know what's gonna happen, and every time I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like thinking so deeply about somebody planting ideas in your head, and then like the freaking special effects were out of this world in that movie. Like
Now let me tell you something about that movie. And this goes to our point is that certain people is not gonna like it for certain reasons, right?
oh yeah.
So my
Mhm.
wife hates that movie. But
Really?
let me tell you why. She gets motion sickness. So the
That's,
movie could be written dope.
yeah.
Like you said, the special effects is killer, but it's gonna make her throw up.
Wow.
So she
No,
can't do it.
because it's crazy. I tweeted because I've been live tweeting stuff a lot, and people hop on like I tried to like it. Why do you like it? And in my mind, I'm like, it's okay if you don't like. Man, somebody was like, I did because I was like, this is a top tier movie in my opinion, and I know this is how Twitter is, so I don't care. But they were like, well, I disagree, and I did an episode about it. You should check it out. And I was just like, I'm fine with you not liking it. I don't like we could just disagree. I mean, agree to disagree, and I still like it. Like your episode is not gonna change my mind.
It's not going to change my
Yeah,
mind
like no
Yeah.
and
opinion is going to change my mind on how I feel about anything.
I like
I
your
like
Shutter Island.
I like watching movies by myself anyway. So we're never going to watch a movie together, buddy. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But what was you about to say, Cedric?
Oh no, I was just thinking about his other. I was just thinking about like Shutter Island. That was another movie that was pretty deep. That was pretty good to me.
Yeah, Shutter Island. You got to turn the lights off for that one.
I ain't never seen that.
I like the ending was what got me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those two. I would say that's more of a classic than Inception.
I've never seen it. I might have. What's it about?
A detective, basically, kind of trying to go investigate this island. It's called Shutter Island, where they have like a bunch of patients. Whether they're sick, they kill people, mental patients, they have something wrong with them. But he's basically like investigating. I think it was like some murder that happened there, if I remember right, or something happened at this island, and he was supposed to like investigate it. But it's real deep. You got to kind of watch it. It's not what you think. It's almost like an Inception.
I don't know. I like movies like that really make you think. Which makes me think. Did y'all get into Nurse Ratchet, that Netflix series?
I've been meaning to, but when everybody started to watch it, I just never got around to it. But not that it matters, but I did hear some good things about that.
I really, really, really like that. But I'm a fan of stuff that has to do with psychology and stuff like that. Stuff that makes you think, or like I might not have had a complaint about Sopranos back then because I might have wanted to come up with my own conclusion because that's how I am. I don't know. We'll see when I get back to the end, because if I promise you I don't remember what happened, how I felt, any of that. But yeah, Ratchet was I didn't think I would like it just because it was from, I don't know if it's like the 50s or the 40s, or I don't know what time frame it was. So I wasn't sure if I would like it, but it was actually really good series, and I don't know if they'll bring it back for season 2 because they ended it in a way where it seems like they could come back. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah.
One show that's not that deep that I like is what's that Gladiator Spartacus? I
Spartacus.
think it's like 2 or 3 seasons. Real
Hmm.
easy to watch because somebody dies every episode. It's always killing and bloodshed.
Let the
Oh,
bodies hit the floor.
That's
is
all
it
it is.
set in like the Hercules and all them
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Okay,
So it's a lot
yeah.
of nudity, a lot of killing. That's all
Mm.
it is. Somebody
That's
dies every
that's
episode.
about
Yo,
how
yo,
Troy was. I love Troy.
and
Like,
they was having crazy sex back then. Like,
Oh yeah, and they show it. They show
oh
everything.
yeah, get off of her.
They
God.
show
Hey.
everything. Like every episode, somebody's ass or titties is out. Somebody's naked. Somebody's dying.
And,
Some character that you didn't think should die is dying.
and
It's a
that's the
good.
crazy part about it is like, how do y'all balance like sex and death? Like, because one is supposed to like not make you that upset anymore.
but
Like,
it's the reality of humanity. Like, think about gang members who go kill somebody and then go home and sleep with their wife, girlfriend, whatever. Like, we all have needs, we all have urges that need to be fulfilled or whatever. So, I mean, even think about the movie Troy, where it was all that sex, and dude was sleeping with the king's wife, started a whole war over that. And but then there was also killing, because that's how we are as people. We're very self-centered, and if we want to kill somebody, we gonna kill somebody. If we want to be sexually fulfilled, then we gonna do that. If we want to do drugs or get drunk or eat, we gonna do what we want to do. And I think it's just the reality of life, I guess.
I got a
Shout out to
question.
Troy.
I got a question for y'all. And this is gonna be the first time I actually really asked this question. Always thought it in my head. Do y'all think it's a two-part question? Do y'all think in certain movies? Yeah, I know. I'm talking to myself. That edible hit, didn't it, Baylor? Yes, it did. Do y'all think in some of these movies they really have sex? And if you do, which movie would that be?
I
I never thought of that.
never thought of that.
Because I'm more so I'm more so thinking about the scenes like in Belly, that scene, not DMX, not DMX and Keisha, but Nas and T-Boz. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
I don't think they maybe had sex on scene, but like maybe like I mean we all know about Mr. and Mrs. Smith and what that led to with
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie and
Right.
Brad Pitt.
Right.
See, and it's so funny that you bring this up, because I actually recently watched an interview that Joseph Sikora did about the sex scenes in Power.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually, now I'm not saying every male actor thinks like him, but for him, and I'm a fan of his anyway because I'm Team Tommy, but it made me really respect him just as a man, because one of the things he said is that, like, he was explaining how when they're in those scenes, it's like there be like 30 people, you know what I'm saying? 30 dudes that are the production people that are doing this and doing that. And and first they do I forget what he called. I guess we'll just say a rehearsal where they're fully dressed and they're just saying like, this is what we're going to do or whatever. But one of the things he said is that, if you're a professional, now I'm paraphrasing it because he said it more eloquently. Your job is to make the actress feel safe and feel protected. It shouldn't be you doing all that and making it actually a sexual thing. Otherwise, you're in the wrong field. Because the thing he really said that because he was like, because let's think about it, they're playing make believe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you said, and I went to a whole. I can't.
That's what he said. But as a woman, that
I
made
don't
me
think every man
respect.
thinks about that though.
And that's what I said, because he was like, in my mind, what's going on is like a million different things are going on. So he was like, for me, it's not a I'm aroused type moment because they're working. So if you think about it like that, when I'm at work, I'm in a totally different, I'm in grind mode. Or even when I'm editing or planning towards, the other things I'm working on or whatever I'm doing, let's even say working out, I'm in a different mindset than when I'm chilling.
Okay, so what mindset was Janet in when she said she needed Pac to get an HIV test before they did any kissing?
Really?
Yeah.
I did hear that.
Wow.
I think, but they had to kiss though, and I don't even think that was a sexual thing. I think that was just, if we gonna be swapping spit, and I know you out here talking about something, I get around. I'm trying to make sure I don't get what you got.
Right, but at the time I'm a youngster, so I'm thinking, well, damn, they really having sex? Like,
Nah,
why
I
would
I
don't.
don't think that was happening.
I don't think anybody.
I don't think so either. Not especially not on film. But
Nah.
but as a kid, that had me thinking like, because Monster Ball.
I think it led to sexual encounters off site
Yeah.
in the film. Like
for
I think
sure.
it led to sexual encounters.
Yeah, I think Pac had him. I think Pac was knocking him down.
Yeah,
I
but
don't think I
it
can't
was like on the
imagine them
set.
being in front of 30 camera people and
Anything, I'm
just
like, let's take this somewhere else. If I'm that horny, if I want to get it like that,
like, hey, come to my trailer though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because I get where you're
dudes.
coming from as far as like, look, you're a professional, you know what I mean? In some cases, some of these actors are married, you know what I mean? And sometimes their spouse is on set and things
hey,
like
he's
that.
married. That's
But
the crazy thing. I didn't realize he was married.
but I'm not gonna lie to you, my brother. If I'm Tommy and
Oh, Lala.
and Lala is, I'm like, I know who Carmelo Anthony is. I know this. I know who my wife is. This scene is happening right now, though. You know that, right? You know what I mean? Like, I get it being a professional, but being a man, and I'm speaking for them. I'm speaking for them too. Like, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. And then looking at the scene, what about Insecure season 1? Lawrence.
I never watched that.
Okay. All right. Well,
I
that
know what you're talking about because I've actually watched a little bit of that.
Oh yeah, that scene right there is like, this is either phenomenal acting or y'all are doing this in front of us.
Well, even Ghosts, because
there's been some good acting.
Ghost sex scenes, both Ghost and Tommy were, it looked real. Like, they are some amazing actors when it comes to that. But never in my mind did I ever. Now, what I have thought, since we're on this and you asked this, is I have thought, not like intentionally, like somebody was like, oh yeah, we about to do this, but I've thought like, well, has it ever accidentally, because like they be butt naked, like you can see a lot of things in some of these shows, and it's kind of like, how are you not accidentally even just rubbing up again? Like, you don't gotta go all up in there, but how are you not accidentally just?
Yeah, I know.
That's why when you said the DMX scene, that's the only scene I honestly think that there's ever been any kind of. Hey, look, and you told me that you don't think that.
But say though, it is DMX, so it could.
I definitely think that if anybody, I think DMS has sex scene, but
that's funny.
Yeah.
But
so we have officially left Bad Boys.
Yeah,
we left. Bad Boys like, yo, hey,
right. We left that about 30 minutes ago. Man. But it is what it is, because this is really good. And honestly, like Soul, that was a very deep complex movie.
Yeah. That's a lot
Bad
more deeper.
Boys. Plus, that was my first time seeing it. If we revisiting stuff, it's gonna be a different type of movie review because one, we've already seen it, and this is. Let me just tell my listeners, this is never gonna be me breaking down the movie scene by scene, and no, this is gonna be me reacting to the movie and us, I should say, reacting to it, us discussing whatever, and it's gonna go where it's gonna go. Like
that's what I actually hate is
Yeah.
because I don't even do my sports show like that. I don't break down a basketball game or a football game like play by play.
Yeah.
That's so boring to me. So I'm not going to break down a movie like scene by scene.
Hell
Or
no.
like hell no. Then you finding a reason not to like it. Like,
yeah, no, we just gonna always come like this, and and the thing about with my show, if you're it's so funny. I tweeted this yesterday. I was talking to somebody, not a podcaster. It was like a face-to-face conversation with someone, and they asked me if I scripted my show. And in my mind, I just kind of thought, like, obviously you've never listened to my show because like I just be talking and go where all over the place. And sometimes I forget, just like earlier when I said, dang, I forgot. Y'all just get to ride my train of thought on whatever the topic is. You just it never is we only talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Even in the episode I just did with Janae, the first half of the show was all serious where I'm talking about her junior year. Then at the end, I start judging her on her food choices and asking her why she likes candy corn because I don't.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So it's kind of like this is me, and the way I look at it, this deep into podcasting. If you listen to me, this is obviously what you appreciate because we gonna give you whatever we got, and that's just what it's gonna be. So I guess I will say, just to kind of wrap it up on the Bad Boys note, kind of bring us full circle. I did enjoy it though. It wasn't a movie that like I still laughed, like you know what I'm saying, laughed back then. I still appreciated the violence and you know what I'm saying, just I still like the movie. It's just certain things made me think a little deeper and question, you know, relational dynamics and stuff, but it didn't. I'm not gonna say, I wouldn't say it didn't age well, especially because the third one tied is still, you know what I'm saying, like tied and brought out some new revelations that we didn't have back then. So I wouldn't say it didn't age well. I would say that from all the cop shows that I've seen, except the part where you left the witness and except that part, everything else seemed realistic based on other, you know what I'm saying, like CSI or whatever that I've watched, where it's like, okay, yeah, you probably would walk up to a house and just bust in, but make it seem like it was an accident, like they did when they found the dead guy. Yeah, you probably would have a criminal hack into the computer system since old girl quote unquote couldn't do it, but really she didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? You probably would do that because you leverage stuff and you do what you got to do. So I felt in that regard, it seemed, now I'm obviously not a cop, but based on what I've seen, shit, look at Snowfall. The CIA brought crack to the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, you want to know what's crazy about the secretary getting caught? Like she was waiting. Like she just knew. She just got her. That's why when they looked over, she was like, "Yes,
yeah,
it's me, big dog. I know."
But it's crazy she didn't get fired. But you know, I believe that stuff like that happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
they slow-mo game, phenomenal. The slow-mo clips, yeah. I'm here for that.
Yeah. What about you, Ced?
Oh yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed watching young Will and young Martin
Yeah.
Lawrence. That's what I really liked, especially like I was noticing. I was like when they was running, when they was doing that running scene, when they was just running, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, they was young back in the day. They was actually in shape.
Six
Martin,
packs, just
yeah, Martin going from a full three to like a 180 from Martin, like
yeah.
him being like running down the street, and him in the new one, he can barely even sit in the side of the motorcycle shooting a little minigun without having problems in that scene in that movie. So,
But that's
no.
realistic too, because you know you get
Yes,
older and
yes, I love that about the Bad Boys 3 that they didn't
yeah,
like try to throw any CGI or anything like that. They
yeah.
actually leaned into they was like, no, Martin, come here, gain a
He
couple more
being
pounds.
right. He being a family man, so that
Yeah,
it makes, you know what I'm saying. It
made
makes
sense.
sense. It was realistic.
Yeah, because he wanted to retire anyways. He didn't really. I
Yeah.
didn't think they was even gonna come out with a Bad Boys 3. So
I didn't either.
so for them to even do that was actually a treat to
Mhm.
everybody.
Do y'all have a favorite, like a favorite scene or a favorite part in the movie? It's one part that I've been saying since I watched the movie. I say it all the time.
Of all the Bad Boys, or just the Bad Boys 1?
Just Bad Boys 1.
My favorite scene.
Yeah.
My favorite scene is when he kills Fouché, and the reason why is because he was gonna let him live,
Mm-hmm.
but he saw the gun glistening in the sunlight, and that just shows how good of a cop he really is, which kind of even disproves the part when Marcus was trying to make it seem like he just a rich boy playing cop. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like that really just showed in that moment. Yeah, he killed him, but he wasn't going to at first. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
that was my favorite scene. Plus, because I know, because he killed Max, I know how good that felt to just go ahead and have a reason.
Yeah, the reason to kill
to
him.
be able to kill him without having to hear anybody's mouth about it. So that was my favorite part.
I probably got two.
I'm glad you said that.
I probably got two. My one is when he was on the phone with Will and his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and he ran back to the house and he was climbing up. He was like, "You think we're gonna do this? We got my babies in the crib." And that whole scene was hilarious to me. And then also the last little scene with the car chase and everything. I always like when he says like, "That's how you shoot. That's how you're supposed to drive."
Yeah.
I think those are classic scenes. Those are classic
That's how
scenes.
you drive from now on. Yeah.
Them is just classics. Like you can people quote that today. So
Yeah.
What about you?
It was actually yours, but just before he got shot. When what he said, because with me and my little brother and now my family, we got a lot of Nerf guns, and so we'd be shooting each other and stuff like that. But back in the day, me and my little brother used to go at it, and so the scene where he got the head to his gun, and he's like, do it. I swear to God, I would always do that. He would have the gun, and I would put it to my head. I'm like, do it.
The thing about it though is that he tried to like get in his head, talk about almost like, you little pussy, you couldn't kill me, because it's like he would. It's so crazy how many criminals would rather die than go to jail. Like so many people, and me, I'm like, first of all, I just ain't committing no crime because I'm not going to jail. That's number one. But number two, I've always been the type, like when I don't even know if I've ever talked about this on here, but when I shot someone.
You shot someone?
Yep.
Oh yeah, she was OG.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when I shot this person, like I know, and it's crazy because people who only know me, like Cedric, obviously you've known me all your life. people who
I remember
only
the
know,
story. I still remember
yeah,
mom being pissed about that stuff.
yeah.
I remember her hanging up, cussing everybody out. Ooh,
Yeah, my
she was.
mom,
Ooh.
she definitely had to have a come to Jesus talk with me, talking about if you basically like if you don't get your shit together, I'm taking your kids from you type stuff. But when I did that, I didn't try to run. So there's two sides to me. There is the side of me that I'm not committing crimes. I'm not trying to do anything to go to jail. But then there's the part of me that makes calculated decisions. And when I make a decision, I've weighed the cost and I felt like whatever may happen, I'm willing to. So like I couldn't go anywhere, one, because this person had slashed my back tire, but also I still could have tried to do something. But it's crazy how so many people, because the person did not die, have committed murders and they just get away scot-free. But when I shoot somebody, police coming from both sides of the block. So all I could do was just sit there, and in true fashion of like who I am, and y'all should see it. Like, I love that Cedric's on here, because Cedric would be like, nah, if I was lying, or you know what I'm saying, something like
That's
that.
the truth.
But how it was is, okay, so then I saw the police coming on both sides of the block. So I'm like, okay, eventually they're gonna figure out that it was me. So I just pulled up in front of the person's house. That was back when I used to smoke cigarettes. So I lit a cigarette and I just kind of sat there smoking my cigarette. The gun was on the seat. Like, I didn't waste no time trying to run or nothing. And I remember they came to the car all aggressive, guns drawn. Get out the car, get out the car. And I was just like, calm down. The gun is on the seat. Like, it's not that deep. Y'all don't need to be that aggressive. Got out the car. He put me in handcuffs, sat me on the curb. And then it's crazy because then when the officer was taking me downtown, I'm like, well, do you want to know why I did it? Like, do you want to know why this happened? So I told him. And then when I went downtown and I'm in the, I don't know what it's called, I guess interrogation room or whatever, the holding room. I wasn't in a jail cell. I was just in a room. So let me give y'all a little background information. So, and I'm not telling you who I shot. Baylor, I'll tell you offline, but I'm not putting it on here on purpose. Not because I don't want y'all to know, but I don't want the person who it was to potentially hear this and make it seem like I'm trying to glorify what I did. You know what I'm saying? Because this is somebody that is crazy. We have since squashed this, and it's somebody who, I mean, people who know who it is, but you know, I'll tell you when we done recording, Baylor. But we so 3 weeks prior to that, I had been stabbed by my ex. And
That
so
was that. That was that close to that.
man,
Jesus,
so
that was a crazy month.
yep. So I was stabbed multiple times, which caused me to lose my job, which caused me also to get evicted because I was in public housing. And apparently, if you get stabbed in your house, not me stabbing somebody, but me getting stabbed, apparently I broke some violation of whatever and put people in danger because I got stabbed. So all that happened. So I was in this place of, I just don't give a fuck, for, you know, lack of a better way to put it. So blah, blah, blah. But the thing about it is, the police who came to my house when I got stabbed are the same police that were a part of when I shot this person. So what I told the police was that this person came at me with a knife and I just got stabbed 3 weeks ago and I didn't know what was going to happen. Whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. And so then I hear the police out there talking about, hey, you remember the girl who got stabbed on, you know, where I live? That's her in there. And so they let me go, and I never got charges for that. Yep, not even
I didn't know that was
yeah, not even not even an unregistered. And I don't know why that happened like that, because I shot somebody and like, but they let me go. They were like, no, this is what they said. They were like, we would let you go, but you got a traffic warrant, so you got to go to Bedrock, that's just what they call it here. And then when I went to Bedrock, he was like, do you want to go home? And I'm like, hell yeah. So I signed up for the offender work program where you got to pick up trash on the highway or whatever. But
yeah, they didn't want to do no paperwork.
I guess not.
They didn't want to do no paperwork on that.
But see, think about how effed up that is, though, when you think about it. I shot somebody. Somebody was in the hospital, like, plotting revenge, but God intervened. And I know this because I talked to the person. That's why I said we since squashed. I mean, we squashed it years ago, but they were in the hospital, like, because they knew where I stayed. They knew where my mama stayed, just like I knew where they stayed and their mama stayed. So it was a crazy situation, but they were like, a nurse or some old lady or something came up to them and was like, I know what you're planning to do. And like, basically what this person was thinking, they said, I know you're planning to blah, 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 but that's not what God wants you to do. And they just took it as God was speaking to them. So they actually called me way before I was even sorry for what I did and said, I forgive you. Yep.
That's deep.
Yeah. So I didn't expect to get into that, but
actually that's not that deep, because if I mean, you shoot me, I'm thinking about that every day. Yeah. Whether you're thinking about that or not. So yeah, I might come to you before you come to me.
Yeah. Because I expected, you know what I'm saying, it to be some stuff that it didn't. And I've seen them since then.
Yeah, my life in jeopardy. I was a kid, man. I didn't know. I was... life is.
On that note, we gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Remind the people where they can find y'all. Goodness.
My name is Cedric. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at CLW51.
All right.
And I am BTG, aka Baylor the Great, on all social media platforms. Like I said, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. Don't take it personal. But if you do it.
Mine says that in my bio in the Twitter. It says, don't take this
seriously. My God. All right. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all take care of your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical health, all that good stuff, especially. I mean, 2021 is different, but it's still a lot of bull going on. So make sure y'all take care of yourselves. Be kind to people too. We're all walking around. I don't care how much you see us, ha ha, he he, and all on this episode. 9 times out of 10, we all got stuff we going through. So everybody you encounter is going through a battle that you don't even know. So be kind. That's why I always say that.
But don't take no bullshit from nobody too.
That's a fact.
Okay, yeah, that too.
Don't take no bullshit from nobody.
Yeah, I ain't saying being a doormat, but I'm saying don't be out here trying to be toxic and just treat people like trash, because you don't want to be the one to push that person over the head. So thank y'all so much for sticking with us. Hopefully y'all come back next week. I only shot one person. I don't do that no more. I live for the Lord, and I be out here trying to promote goodness on the earth. So yeah, thank y'all. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for Tamra.